one ever is. We don't get to choose our time.
People probably won't know that I grew up like on my dad's couch, so we didn't have any money. I remember the struggle. I remember how hard it was for my mum.
I think the easiest thing in life is to give up on whatever you're focused on or whatever you're hopeful for. The hardest thing is to keep going, but we have to continue to hold on. And I would imagine for so many people out there, that is probably the most difficult thing.
To be this, then you should not be surprised when you are that.
Man, I gave my soul to this game. There's nothing more I could give. Nothing. But I'm telling you, it goes by fast. And if you don't give it your all, you're going to regret it.
I don't quit. You know, I may not make it the first time, but I'll come back. I got caught audible. I gotta fucking get my head back in the game. I gotta figure this shit out. It doesn't mean you leave. It means you study it more.
It was 2008. The Redeem team was formed. And we were in Vegas for the start of training camp, and we were getting ready for the Olympics in Beijing. We're going to head to Beijing. And I wanted to establish myself as a young leader on the team by waking up bright and early, day one. So the goal was to be the first one at breakfast. So I set my alarm. I make sure I'm up by sunrise. I get out of bed. I put on my gear and I head downstairs. But when I get there, Kobe's already there, with ice packs on his knees, drenched in sweat. Now, it took me a minute to figure it out, but this guy wasn't only awake before me. He had already worked out. He had just played in the finals days earlier. Meanwhile, I'd been off for months and I was still exhausted. What he had done that morning was incomprehensible to me. That dedication he had only days after falling short of an NBA championship. That taught me something I've never forgotten. Legends aren't defined by their successes. They're defined by how they bounce back from their failures.
I've just never gotten the chance to show the world what they're capable of.
Not again about the race cars.
Didn't you say always do something you love?
I did, but I meant within the realm of reality. You know what racing cars cost?
It's what I love. It's what I'm good at. Dad, do you remember this day? You took this with me when I was 5. All I wanted to do since then is be a racer. I am doing it. Whether you believe in me or not.
Do not overestimate the competition and underestimate yourself. You are better than you think.
Let life touch you. Don't let it kill you, but let it touch you.
That would be my new 100%. You must continue to find your new 100%. Whatever life throws at you, you must find what you can do now.
Because remember this. So you got to get out there. You got to give it everything you got, whether it's your time, your talent, your prayers, or your treasures.
Have that vision of the future, but they give up on that vision because in order for them to arrive at that vision, they have to do something. They have to think differently. They have to act differently. They have to feel differently. The hardest part about change is not making the same choice as you did the day before. And the moment you decide to make a different choice, you're going to feel uncomfortable because you're stepping from the known into the unknown.
You know what the difference between winners and losers is? One of the differences, winners take the first step. Losers always have an excuse. Winners say, okay, I'm going to do it, and they do it. They take the first step. That doesn't mean they jump off a cliff. It just means they take the first step. And if you take the first step, the second step will appear, and the third step will appear. It's almost like those lights that light up as you walk along. Well, what happens is that you take the first step, every subsequent step will appear. And surprise, surprise, you'll turn around a week, a month, a year, or some years later, look back, and you'll have accomplished extraordinary things. And people say, well, you're sure lucky. You're sure lucky. It wasn't luck at all. I worked at it and worked at it and worked at it.
It's strictly about you finding who you are. So many people die, live 100 years, never know who they are. Never know who they are. You have to look in that mirror and know there's so much more in here, man. Because I can literally right now be a 300-pound guy spraying for cockroaches. Still to this day, there has to be more to this. This can't be it.
Whatever time that you have to attack like you're trying to save the world. You're trying to save your life. You don't want to drown. That 1.5 hours a day that you have to write, god damn, you better be caffeinated and motivated. You got to go. You got to get after it. And you got to have discipline. Most people don't have those things. Most people don't understand what it's like to